I was able to read a little bit more of the book, The Whole Brain Child, this past week with all of my free time. Actually, I tackle it when my son is nursing. That's been kind of helpful, as long as I'm not trying to keep him awake while he's nursing. I have a little bit of time to read, especially when my husband is home. And the second chapter, so just to review, the first chapter is about your role as a parent to help you integrate the various parts of your child's brain. And chapter 1 focused on integrating the left and the right brain. And they give a few strategies and scenarios of how to help your left brain and your right brain connect and to help your child do so. And I found interesting at the end of the chapter, they kind of draw attention to you as a parent and ask you to think about, well, do you have challenges sometimes integrating your left and your right brain based on your background or just your general disposition? And I'm thinking a little bit about that today. So I definitely think I have a tendency to lean more towards the left brain. Not that I'm not affectionate or compassionate or empathetic with my children. It's just I like things to be in order and to have structure, and I want things to make sense. And when something doesn't make sense, and I try all of the problem things and read all the articles, and I'm like, I just don't know how to fix this problem, and I get really frustrated and anxious. And sometimes I think it's just helpful if I stop and just hold my child. So an example is this week, this past week, we started swim lessons for my daughter. It happens to be smack dab in the middle of my son's nap time. My fault. I was thinking I wanted to get her into swim early in the day because she's at her best in the mornings versus after nap. She can be really hit or miss with how things are going with her day. Not thinking about the fact that his nap time, his first nap of the day, is really important. Granted, at the time when back in October, when I set up the reservation, he wasn't taking a structured nap, so I guess I can give myself a little grace there. Anyway, so he's been kind of missing or going too long with his first nap. It's thrown off the rest of the day, been really fussy, so I find myself reading all of these things and just stressing out about he needs his nap, he has to have his nap, he's not getting it. So just stress. And I read the book talking about, well, are there times when your left brain is dominant versus your right brain? And today I was able to, and partially because my spouse was home, when he woke up early from a nap and I wanted him to sleep longer, I ended up just holding him and laying with him and giving him some of that emotional support instead of, just pulling him out of bed and going about the rest of our day and saying just, oh, that's a short nap. We're going to have to figure out how to solve that and rethink and maybe shorten your awake window and blah, blah. And doing that actually helped me bring my stress levels down. So hopefully tomorrow he will get a good first nap in since it's Sunday, and he can reset a little bit more. And I do still want to rely on that left brain and kind of think of a bigger solution to this problem of him not sleeping as well because we're out and about. I already added a sound machine. I put it on his car seat, and if he falls asleep in the car on the way home, then I'm just driving somewhere else instead of going home right away. But it's just one of those things. It's, always something. But I hate to see him so frustrated and tired. He's still sleeping well at night, thankfully, for the most part, but just something that's on my mind. What else? Update on Whole30. We are about to roll into our third week of Whole30, and that's been a lot. The second week was much more challenging than the first week. I felt like I was constantly cooking and constantly doing dishes and getting behind on the dishes. I didn't have as much support this week with dishes because my husband had some stuff going on. And so it was pretty overwhelming to just have that to do all the time. I will also say that I was trying to get myself into bed earlier instead of staying up late the night before prepping for the following day, because I think I maxed out on my sleep deprivation budget. So I had to start putting myself to bed a little bit earlier so I could do that 5 a.m. wake up and get some stuff done for myself and prep breakfast and all that. But it was a tough week, but we made it through, and we are still program compliant, and we're going to roll into week 3. And I do hope that we start seeing some of the positive benefits. I've found some recipes that we're going to make staples. I already mentioned the stuffed peppers, so we had those again this past week, and I also made a coconut curry chicken that turned out really well. And what else? Tried sweet potato buns on burgers. That was new, and actually oddly satisfied the desire to eat a burger. So there's that. And then there was a kale and Swiss chard situation with sliced almonds and ghee that was also very good. So going to continue to push myself to try a few new recipes. I think I want to swap out salmon this week for another fish, so I might try a cod recipe or something else. And probably going to do a chili because it's winter time and it sounds good, and I can make my go-to chili recipe. I'm able to make that without beans. I've never done it without beans before, but I'm able to make it without beans. So we'll see how it turns out. And I'm looking forward to just continuing to notice my cravings and not respond to them, and let them roll over me and pass, because the sugar cravings are one of the things that I came into the program hoping that I could get mastery over. My husband and I were talking about long term, what do we want to do as far as Whole30 and this way of eating, and I do think it's something we mostly want to continue even after the 30 days, after our reintroduction, and we kind of see what things trigger us and make us not feel great. Once we have that outlined, I think we'll still continue to eat mostly clean, fresh foods, whole foods, but maybe have something here and there. Like, I'm personally really excited to reintroduce dairy. I'd like a latte. I've been adding whole fat coconut milk to my coffee, and it's good. I do cinnamon and whole fat coconut milk. I've always added cinnamon to my coffee, but it's really nice to be able to treat yourself to coffee sometimes. And I know some people treat themselves to coffee every day, but I only do every once in a while, so I do miss that little treat for myself to get a nice latte somewhere with all the fancy foam. And then, as I mentioned, last week was the first week of my daughter's swim lessons with the Infant Safety Rescue program, and it went really well. She cried and screamed most of the time, which is pretty normal. It's the first time she's really been in the water like that without like a life vest or a parent holding her, and also had to do something that was challenging and new and really have to push through. So her end of the week videos were kind of cute because she's swimming from the instructor and this girl, never really swam before, but she's going from the instructor to the wall and catching the wall, which is one of the things they teach there, to be able to reach a wall so you can pull yourself out of the water if you've accidentally fallen in. And she's crying when she comes up, but she's saying things like, I got it, and yay! But she's so clearly not happy. But we're very proud of her and keep affirming that. And I'm a little worried about her going back on Monday, just because I know she is stressed out by it. I also know that it's in her best benefit, so she'll be going back. But a little worried about that. Also noticed some just general shifts in her behavior, which I think are pretty normal when a kid's going through something that's somewhat stressful and different, new. She's been kind of acting more babyish. She's been wanting to climb up and sit in the high chair. Sometimes she'll go back to saying mama and dada instead of mommy and daddy, or mom and dad. She actually calls us. She just went straight from mama and dada to mom, dad. It's kind of funny. So, that is a little frustrating because seeing her usually function on a much higher level and be great with multi-step directions and just kind of moving through the day, and now she just needs a lot more holding and coddling and kind of goes into this I'm saying no to everything. So we've been intermittently giving her space and giving her just warm, positive touch to help her kind of work through. And then if she wants to talk, she actually hasn't talked about swim too much today, except when my mom brought it up on their phone call. But it's just a work in progress, and hopefully next week I'll have something different to report, and I know she'll continue to progress and continue to get stronger as a swimmer and stronger in her aquatic survival skills. So that's the goal that we're keeping in mind, and we just gotta be a lot more gentle and more right-brained with both of my kids this week.